Welcome back to Thinking Critical. This is Wes, and with me today is my good friend Skip and Tosh. It's the Skip and D connection for geek-span. What's up, buddy?
Man, just here to jump into some news, man. We're connecting to bring you guys our opinions on this week's news, and there is no shortage. So let's jump into it.
Yep, we got all the geek culture 411. We got the comic and movie industry news. Skip, somebody at Warner Brothers watched last week's geek-span a few days after opening with $33 million domestically, a shocking 25% below adjusted expectations. Birds of Prey and the something is officially Harley Quinn Birds of Prey. Too little, too late.
Yeah, man. Well, first of all, we know everybody in Hollywood watches geek-span. I mean, there's no way that industry could run without our opinions on how to make it happen right. So first of all, thank you for all of those Hollywood people and producers that tune in. Second of all, I'm glad they listen, Wes. I mean, this could be the single thing that will revive their chances on recouping the rest of their budget for shooting, the reshoots, as well as all of the marketing, and especially the new marketing that they have to do, because someone's got to open back up all the Photoshop files and erase half or more, 3/4 of the title to simplify it. You know, this is one of those things where, you know, if they just would have, you know, what did they say? KISS, keep it simple, stupid, right? Just keep it simple. You know, the most interesting part that, or one of the most attractive parts about Suicide Squad was Harley Quinn. And Margot Robbie and her star power from Wolf on Wall Street to Suicide Squad and I, Tonya, is why you want to put her front and center. Just say it's a Harley Quinn movie, because that's what it is. And by all accounts, you know, no major spoilers. I still haven't gotten a chance to go see it yet anyway. But you really don't see them work together until much later in the film than most people anticipated. So this really was a Harley Quinn movie to begin with. It was Harley Quinn featuring Birds of Prey. Finally, they decided to be honest with the billing instead of just trying to punch up Harley Quinn and give Fantabulous, like the Fantabulous of one Harley Quinn. I will be honest, that even in the title, when they did Fantabulous and one Harley Quinn, I was like, you guys are taking it too far, and you're not keeping it wide enough to bring in what people, you know, call casuals and normies. You made it very centered on just one particular group of people, and that group of people was not enough to support the entire film. So I applaud them for committing to the people that they knew really, really liked this portrayal of Harley Quinn, but you can't just market it to people who are in the cosplay, you know, field. That's a very small number of people. Wes, are you glad that they finally took your advice?
Well, you know, it's interesting that there are so many factors. I even forgot last week to mention it's an R-rated movie. You know, when back in the day when Suicide first came out, I remember my one of the guys I worked with was talking about, you know, he was lamenting that his 9-year-old wanted to go at Halloween as Harley Quinn. So they like cut out like all the young boys and girls that might have wanted to see the movie, you know, and it from everything I've read, it didn't need to be a rated R. So that was pretty stupid. But, you know, I think looking at this, you just have to applaud what they did with the Sonic the Hedgehog movie. They put out, you know, the preview information. They did the sneak peek of the character, and everyone came back and said, no, that's not what we want. And they said, thank you for the information. We're going to we're going to revamp the look. So maybe it's something that the customers want. And what do we have? It looks like, you know, Sonic the Hedgehog is going above expectations. It's going to be a big moneymaker. You know, people from the get-go said that's a stupid title. They also said this isn't a Birds of Prey movie. It's a Harley Quinn movie. They didn't listen to their customers. It didn't come back the way that they wanted. And, you know, there's also something else going around called coronavirus. It's basically destroyed the box office in China. You know, when I say destroyed, went from like 1.5 billion, you know, to like 1 million. And, you know, it's also affecting Japan. So, you know, it's affecting the overseas box office as well. So it's bad timing in that or on that part, but it didn't have to be like this. They really shot themselves in the foot, and it is too little too late. They should have done this months ago.
I fully agree. So we'll keep an eye on it and see ultimately what the numbers end up being, but they may not get close to recouping it without putting together like a really awesome package, like a physical package for when finally it reaches the home theater for most people. But moving on to our next topic. Cover art for May's Batman, Detective Comics, and Batgirl issues are kicking the teased Joker War crossover event in high gear. Good timing for another DC crossover, Wes?
Wow, I couldn't believe this. I remember they were teasing it, at the end of Tom King's Batman run, and they teased it in the first two issues of James Tynion's new Batman run. But this is the worst timing I could ever think of. That's right when death metal is hitting. They're starting this whole new DC Generations, thing with like 6 special books. It's going right into 5G, and you're gonna do a Joker War crossover event. Like, there's no air for this event to breathe. You would think a Joker War thing would be a big event, a big money maker for DC Comics. You might want to, give it its own room, but I don't know why they're sticking it in there. And plus, with 5G right around the corner, and when I say right around the corner, I mean a couple months, around the corner from that, it's completely inconsequential. It means nothing. What's going to happen in this Joker War story that anyone thinks is going to have any ramifications or anything long term? And we've already got these other major events going on. Just the worst timing ever. I have zero interest in this, and plus tying this James Tynion, Peter J. Tomasi, crossover in with Cecil Castellucci's Batgirl. I don't want to read any of her stuff. She basically just did a hack job on Female Furies. No one's reading Batgirl, so you're not gonna, entice new Batgirl readers. You're just gonna make, Batman readers be like, nah, this isn't that important. If it was important, Cecil Castellucci wouldn't be writing about any part of it. So just terrible thing all around. I'm sure there are plenty of viewers that are excited, but I couldn't be less excited for a Batman Joker event. Crazy.
Yeah, the only sense that it makes at all is that they're still trying to capitalize off of some of the excitement from the Joker movie and whatnot, and then the nominations and ultimately one of the Oscars that it won for Best Actor. But just because that part makes sense still doesn't make it a good idea. Unfortunately, it was kind of leading up to this, so I don't know how much they could have put it off, and I don't think it would have been a good job for them to speed it up. And then, like you said, they're just trying to tie it in with James Tynion's thing, being that he took over on Batman. He's the lead Batman writer now that Tom King is gone, and trying to prop up Castellucci in the midst of it, trying to give her a little shine off of the good graces that Tynion has been garnering with his run after taking over for Tom King. But yeah, like you said, ultimately all of the decisions that they made up until this point puts it in a place where it just doesn't seem viable. It doesn't seem like something that people are wanting very much at the local comic book shops. I haven't heard a lot of excitement about it from anyone, and sometimes within the comic book shops, you have those people there that they are really into the comics. They do continue to come back and read. They'll buy everyone. They don't necessarily watch these videos and stuff like that we make. They're not into the discussion part as much, but they are into the story. And I haven't even heard any of those type of customers really talk about it like they're exciting. So I think this is just going to be a big flop. It's just going to come and it's going to go. And I just hope that James Tynion, doesn't take a hit for it. I don't see him doing so, but Cecil Castellucci, it's going to be what it's going to be. I don't see Cecil Castellucci picking up any more readers for Batgirl based off of this.
Let's stick with The Dark Knight. The Batman director, Matt Reeves, shared a camera test of Robert Pattinson's new Batman uniform on a scale of Batman Begins tactical gear to George Clooney's bat nipples. How excited are you for the new Batman uniform?
It's funny. I'm actually not as excited as everybody else seems to be about it. I don't think it looked bad, and I was surprised at how good that Robert Pattinson looked inside of the cowl. Not too stoked that I didn't get to see the ears, but whatever. I don't think it looks bad though, and it does, remind me of, of the Arkham series, the video game Arkham City, Arkham Knight. So it looks like that, and I think that is smart by them because that's the most recent iteration of Batman that I think this generation, the younger generation, if they played the video games or even people from our generation, will take to, because minus Arkham Origins, that series was very well respected, very well liked, and even led it kind of changed the landscape of video game or comic video games. I mean, look at what how Spider-Man was made after the fact, but it looks good. It looks fine. I'm still not excited. It's going to take more than a camera test to get me excited about this movie. I'm just glad that from the torso to the forehead, they didn't botch it. But ears are a really big part of Batman's costume, because it's easily the thing that can look like it could throw it off if it doesn't look good, or it could really make it believable and tie it all in. So I do want to see the ears, and it probably sounds ridiculous that I'm making such a big deal about ears, but I am. And for people, if you haven't seen the version of it where I forget who it was, but someone went in and took a lot of the red hue out, so you can just see it kind of more grayscale. It does look a lot better, and you get to see a little bit more of the detail from that. But Wes, I mean, were you more excited? Are you all in on Robert Pattinson now being Batman after seeing this?
Well, no, it's about the uniform, and the devil is in the details in this one. And there's two details that stand out to me. One is the Batman logo. It appears to be the gun. We're assuming it's the gun that was used to murder his parents. That's kind of cool. It looked really neat the way it was put in there. So I think that is a cool addition to it. If you want to do something unique, you want to do something different with the uniform, I think that's a good place to start. But it's not all good. The bad thing is the cowl itself. It appears to be leather. Like it looks like they took a Batman uniform and put a Daredevil like mask on him, and I don't like that. It's not the right look for the character. It doesn't fit the rest of the uniform. From what I've seen, once we get a good look at it, in action, it might be top notch. But I don't know why they went with a leather look for it. Like I said, that's a Daredevil thing. That is not a Batman thing. But the gun thing in the logo is badass. I like that. That was cool.
And if I remember correctly, wasn't that the story? Like, it seems like that was taken from the story that Kevin Smith had written for that that Batman anthology that just came out recently.
I don't remember that being in the story.
I remember the story that that he had gotten shot, and that there was a metal plate right there over his chest that had stopped the bullet, and he went back and he was kind of talking about how his trauma, he's turning into hope, and he had taken that gun and melted it down and then put it in a press and created.
Yeah, see, this isn't melted down. This is just pieces of the gun.
Right, but I'm just saying the idea of it seems like it was taken from that. It didn't look exactly the same because it was like a waffle iron plate from the Kevin Smith story, if I remember correctly. But yeah, this one is like on the outside of it, and it has the wings and stuff like that. And oh yeah, Tevye said indeed, same here. Yep. Okay. Sounds good. But yeah, no, I that part is easily my favorite part of it, and I do like how the shoulder pads, seem like it's almost like kind of Casey Jones from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. It seems like it's more practical and moves. So yeah, we got to see what else comes along, but we will see. Matt Reeves, you're starting on a good foot, that's for sure. And then on to some more Batman-esque type news. Tom King's artistic collaborator on Sheriff of Babylon, Mr. Miracle, and the upcoming Strange Adventures miniseries announced he renewed his contract with DC exclusively. Who makes out better, DC Comics or Mitch Gerads?
So it's kind of weird, Mitch Gerads really hasn't been doing much since Mr. Miracle ended. He did one of the Nightmare stories. I remember he did some of the art. I think maybe he did 2 issues in Heroes in Crisis. He did a little bit of art in another Batman, I think in City of Bane, but he hasn't really been doing much. But he's a really good artist. Like he's very unique. He brings his own style, his own flavor to the series. And if if DC wants to have the best artistic talent in the industry that's available, you should be locking up Mitch Gerads. So I think for the two of them, it's kind of mutually beneficial. But who really is making out in all of this is Tom King. I don't understand why he's associated with all these great artists, whether it be Clayman or Mitch Gerads and Lee Weeks, is in there as well. Even the Michael Yandon's probably the least talented artist associated with him, and he's pretty damn good, especially when he's trying. So I wish Mitch Gerads was doing more. Maybe he has the entire Strange Adventures miniseries. Might be a maxi series. I think it might be 12 issues, but maybe he has that entire story already illustrated. It's just waiting to be produced. But I really wish he would have worked more in the last 12 months. He's such a good artist, but maybe I guess he was just waiting for more work from Tom King. Ugh.
That's what it seems like. I really enjoy Mitch Gerads' art. I think it's really good. It also looks like it might take because of like the style of it, like the effects that he uses, like with the different color shifts on there, the RGB color shifts and everything. It looks like it takes a little bit longer maybe to produce. But at the same time, yeah, he might just be up there saving his best for Tom King. What I hear from people that know Tom King and have worked with Tom King is that he's a really easy guy to work with, and he's really likable. Like when you're just like one on one. So people seem to like Tom King, and in this industry, what I'm starting to gather is that it's kind of difficult enough with the demands of editorial and the deadlines and what you get paid, especially if you're not more of the top tier people. So people just kind of look for other people to work with that are easy to work with. And it is a lot of, very much a lot of like, friends working with friends and all of that stuff, nepotism to a certain degree and whatnot. So it seems like that's what it is. And honestly, that's, from reading, Tom King's, Batman run, and kind of when he goes too long, what his stories end up being, nothing else really makes a lot more sense. So I personally think that Mitch makes out better than the rest of this, because I also don't see DC pushing him to pump out like any more like work overtime for art, and Tom King just continues to get the best of the best there for, like you said, for whatever reasons. Yeah, I'm not sure.
All right, Jack Black and Kyle Gass, the unlikely duo behind the comedic rock group Tenacious D, have taken their act to the big screen, released multiple albums, and even toured the world. Now, Jack Black is illustrating a Tenacious D graphic novel. Skip, you impressed by Jack Black's graphic abilities?
First of all, Jack Black needs to pay you some money from stealing your nickname, Tenacious D. First and foremost. Second of all, yeah, man, I think it's cool. I like Jack Black, from his acting to his music. Tenacious D, their songs are pretty crazy, and him and Kyle together, they're talented. So I think it's good. I haven't always been the biggest fan, and there hasn't all. I mean, it's been mixed success musicians coming over to comics and doing series, the success that they end up having. But I mean, like, for someone like Jack Black, who this isn't his main thing, there's probably not a lot to lose in this. So, I mean, and he's the type of person, I feel like when he gets into something artistic, from acting to music, like, he always puts so much of himself into it that he gets his point across, and it always ends up being, having if not an awesome amount of talent, a very solid amount of talent, and ends up being entertaining. So I'm fine with it, Wes. Are you excited about it? What do you think about it?
I looked at the preview art, and I will say this. Jack Black's ability to draw cartoons, like, I don't think he would have he wouldn't have been selected to draw Ziggy. Let's put it that way. Like, he appears to have zero ability to draw characters or make comic book art. So I hope the people that are excited about this book and they pay their hard-earned money aren't expecting good visuals in their graphic novel, because it's pretty bad. I assume it'll be funny. It'll be marketed well, and they'll do something that's worth checking out on YouTube or somewhere. But the visuals are very much lacking. It is kind of pathetic, to be completely honest. Like I said, it wouldn't have made it wouldn't have passed the smell test on a Ziggy cartoon, let alone something being released in graphic novel format that's probably going to cost like $20. So probably should have hired a real artist. Just my thoughts.
Absolutely. We will see. We'll see how it all goes. And going from Jack Black to some other feel-good stuff. Rumors of a sequel or reboot for classic 80s film The Goonies have been circulating for years now. Finally, The Goonies are confirmed to return, but not how many expected. Fox ordered a pilot about a teacher helping 3 students reshoot the classic film. Is this enough to satiate our appetite for new material starring the Goonies, Wes?
Oh man, this is tough because the Goonies is in my top 5 films of all times. You know, I've been waiting for a Goonies sequel, a Goonies reboot. You know, the kids from the Goonies being the adults with new kids being the new Goonies, or I don't care how they do it. I want some more Goonies. It's something I want to watch with my kids. You know, I got 2 boys. It's going to be fun. You know, of course, we're going to watch the original, but, you know, 2 hours isn't enough. You know, I want something new that the kids can enjoy. So is this exactly what I was looking for? No. Am I going to watch it? Yeah, if it ever makes it to the TV, it sounds like fun. I love the movie. I hope for some inside jokes, and maybe Sean Astin will come in and do a cameo in the series or something. Maybe Chunk will come back, you know, all that good stuff. So, not what I want, but I'll definitely consume it if it's available because I love the Goonies. Anything with the Goonies on it, whether it be a T-shirt, a video game, you know, music video, I want to see it all. I'm not super excited, but I'm definitely a customer.
I have always been an outsider on this topic. One of my best friends, that is one of his favorite movies. He always quotes it and all that stuff. And for years we had been friends, and he had quoted it. And when I wouldn't respond to those quotes, he'd be like, "The Goonies, man. You haven't seen The Goonies?" I was like, "Yeah, I've seen The Goonies. I just never been a big fan of it." So for me, I'm going to give it a shot because, you know, if there's something within this that makes me connect to the original a little bit more, then I will give it another shot. I will, before it comes out, I will watch the original Goonies one more time. The last time I watched it was, we're in 2020, probably 2016. And I will give it another go and see if I can connect to it. But I think it is one of those things possibly that if you didn't catch it earlier on when it came out, then you just weren't with it. And I think for me, I had to pick one. It was either the Never-Ending Story or the Goonies that I was going to get down with. And I ended up like getting down with the Never-Ending Story. But in my nerd life, there wasn't room enough for 2 fantasy films like that. It was either going to be the Goonies or it's going to be Never-Ending Story for me. I ended up picking Never-Ending Story. So Skip is on the outside on this one.
Wow. So every moment that you don't praise Goonies, you basically take a dump on America, Skip. I don't know what to tell you. And trying to say that you have to make a choice between the Never-Ending Story and the Goonies, it's like saying I had to make a choice between Kroll and Star Wars. It just doesn't happen. It's all great, you know. It's all classic storytelling. I'm not going to choose between Conan the Barbarian and sort of an Excalibur. You know, you can't make choices like that. They're both equally great. Never-Ending Story is probably a little inferior, you know, compared to the Goonies. But I thought we were friends. But I'm gonna have to rethink that now. That's crazy talk. You don't like the Goonies. All right, people. We've outed Skip as a communist, is a pro-Marxist, anti-American agent that has infiltrated Thinking Critical. He's probably going to be around for a while, but he's definitely lost his geek card, not liking Goonies. That's terrible. What do you have to say for yourself before we leave here? Leave these people. Skip.
So if you guys want to apply to take over my role, because obviously I'm being ushered off here, you can send all of your emails and requests to wes@thinkingcritical.com. And don't expect me back next week, people. I'll be on OTB, but my geek card has been taken. I officially can no longer be on geek-span because I don't like Kroll. I chose Star Wars, and I've never been a fan of Excalibur. I've always loved Conan way more. So I think I not only just buried myself, but I put myself in the casket, I closed it, and somehow miraculously put the the all of the dirt back on my grave. Wes, it was nice knowing you. Fantastic being a part of Geek-Span. I will see you on OTB next week, my friend.
Later.
Peace.